Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show. It is Sunday, May 9th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack with you, ready to break down the Sunday MLB card. Oh, and a happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all the moms out there. We wish you all the best and hope you have a wonderful day. Hopefully it's going to be another wonderful betting day in baseball. It's been a terrific run for me. And look, I appreciate all the kind words. I will say this, doing this show 7 days a week has made me a better baseball handicapper and better. I honestly believe that because I go above and beyond when it comes to making sure I've got all the notes I can on all these pitchers, all these teams, current form, stats, all that. Try to give good info, try to give good analysis. And the fact that I soak in like a sponge so much info and analysis and stats and info about all these teams, all these pitchers, all these games, I think it has helped my performance, to be honest with you, with baseball this season. So thanks to everyone in the chat. You can criticize me for having a shitty day once in a while, Connor, because we're all going to have a bad day, but you can't criticize me for being unprepared. And I feel with this show and all the shows I do, I'm very well prepared. I try to give as good information, usable, bettable information as possible. So good stuff. Let's get to it. We got a big card. We've got the Boston Red Sox and Baltimore Orioles to get things started. Nick Pivetta, Dean Kramer, your pitching matchup here. Boston minus 130, road favorites, total 9 here, pretty much across the board in this one. And Nick Pivetta, a guy that the Boston Red Sox, Connor, they took a chance on him, kind of a reclamation project kind of deal. Let's see what he can do for us. What he's done for the Red Sox is pretty damn impressive. This season with this Boston team, 5-1 in his 6 starts. And he's allowed 3 runs or less in 4 straight starts, 2 or less in 3 of those 4 starts. So he's pitched pretty well. He's faced the Orioles once earlier this season. Not a great outing, but he got the win. They gave him a lot of run support, 4 runs in 6 innings. And then his other start against them was a 1-run effort in 5 innings. So not bad at all for Pivetta in the past against Orioles, or the Red Sox are winning with him right now. On the other side, you've got Dean Kramer on the mound for the Orioles. He really came out of nowhere with a good start last time out against Seattle. Just 1 earned run in 6 innings of work. So give him credit. Maybe he's turned it around, but I'm going to have to see a lot more evidence of that because prior to that, this guy's been crushed and smacked around big time. In his previous 4 starts, the Red Sox had faced him once. It was last year. They lit him up 7 runs in that game. So I know Maxwell Smart's been chiming in the chat already. Boston each way. Yeah, I wouldn't talk you out of that. Boston Red Sox in this game. First 5 innings, perhaps, in a full game split. It definitely makes some sense to me here because Kramer has struggled. I'm not buying a turnaround just because of 1 good start against Seattle last time out. I got to see a lot more evidence. So Boston definitely would be the side for me. Connor, what do you think here? Boston, Baltimore.
Yeah, this one's interesting. 2 pitchers that I still don't think are very good. And I've been shocked, but you're right. Pavetta's been unreal so far. I don't know if that continues. I think we see more runs. The Red Sox just keep doing it. They went on that slump and now they've been scoring at least about 9 a day the last 5. I lean the over 9, the full game. You mentioned it. Both these pitchers are bad. I guess I just don't love taking over first 5s. Too many of them. And it's minus 120. That's why the over 4.5. I mean, I don't blame anyone for wanting to look that way with these 2. Yeah, Kramer, he's not been very good. He had a decent start against the Mariners. I still don't think he's very good. So, yeah, over for me. Full game, over 9, runs. The Orioles should hit Pivetta. I mean, he's looked great. Maybe he'll continue to. I've seen in the last few years, the Phillies, I don't think he's that good. He's decent. Maybe if you like the Orioles, I'd stick to it. Jump on him, maybe get a few runs first 5. But I see more and more runs, overs. Lots of overs yesterday.
Yeah, lots of overs yesterday. And I think there's a couple to start the card today. And the next game, Nationals Yankees, I think could be over as well, if you ask me. But the problem is Sundays are usually not the days you want to hammer the overs. You get a lot of these, that's the one thing that I'm hesitant about. So I'm keeping them probably lower units. I keep all my bets lower units because I'm such extreme high volume. You can't be betting 5-10 units per game with the volume I play on a daily basis. You're going to be in a one-way ticket to the poorhouse if you have a really bad day that way. You got to keep everything a little bit lower units. So I do that anyway, but I'm really going to do that with the overs today because I find when I hammer the overs on Sundays, it becomes a YouTube bloody Sunday for me sometimes in that regard. So and it's just the way it is. I mean, the lineups usually just guys rested. I don't know. The umpires want to get a move on to the next city, the next town, the next series they're going to do. So they rush through it a little bit and a little more, wider strike zone, if you will. So there's a lot of factors that lead into why there's more unders on Sundays than probably any other day in the week in Major League Baseball. But certainly from a matchup standpoint here, the over does make some sense. And I think it makes some sense here. Washington, New York Yankees, Ross and Domingo Germán here in this one. We've got the New York Yankees here at about minus 145, minus 150, total 9 here across the board. Joe Ross at Yankee Stadium, I don't know. This is the one thing he has had an issue with this year is sometimes some fly balls, sometimes some home runs. And that could be an issue for him here in this game here against the New York Yankees. So watch out for that. His ERA is increased, 4.39 ERA. And Domingo Germán, we're waiting and waiting and waiting for him to get on the beam a little bit, and just hasn't really come to fruition for him. 4.32 ERA entering this start. Looking at this game here, definitely I think we're going to see both of these lineups have a little bit of success going into this game. When you look at it too, a couple other numbers that I want to throw at you. Germán, 6.75 ERA in his 2 home starts at Yankee Stadium, 4 home runs allowed in 8 innings. That's a terrible ratio. Basically, half a home run per inning. Essentially, is what he's given up here. 7.47 ERA in his last 3 starts for Joe Ross. So as I mentioned, he's regressing. It's going to be at temperatures in the mid-60s, 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing straight out to center here today at Yankee Stadium. So the wind conditions are very much hitter conditions today. So this one should see some runs in my mind. What do you think, Conor? Nats Yanks.
I agree with you. I think this one sees runs as well. 2 pitchers that you just said, fly ball pitchers, not going to see many ground balls with these 2 guys on the mound. And Ross, you're right. He hasn't been good against the Yankees. He hasn't been good in interleague. He's a guy that can get pitched well at times, but I still just don't think he's very good. Germán, the Yankees are laying minus 150. It's a little high. I'd only be on the Yankees look one way. Maybe you want to take a first 5, but I'd probably go the whole game. That bullpen blew up the other night on me in a 3-3 ball game. They had like 10 scoreless innings and then gave up 6 runs. I look to the Yankees run line plus 125, good plus money. Of course, you can go team totals over 3.5, 4.5, Nats, Yanks, both minus 120. I'd rather stick to the full game over 9. If you think there's going to be runs, I wouldn't maybe do team total. Just the over 9 here, minus 105. Stanton prop too. He's got a homer off Ross. I forget his numbers. Yeah. I was checking it earlier. But he's got a couple of yeah.
I'm thinking of staying off that Stanton prop because I've been on it 2 days in a row and it hasn't cashed. So, and I'd really like to.
Friday. I was going to try today. Yeah.
I think I'm going to try it again today, just because I know if I don't bet it today, he'll hit. That's the way it usually works. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's the way it works, right? You ride something, a couple losses, you jump off it. And he'll win.
Boom.
And over the total bases. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to stick with it because I don't want to be not on it when he finally does get that over 1.5 total bases. But it makes some sense. He has had some good swings against Ross. He's seen Ross, another one of these Washington Nationals pitchers. He's seen them a lot. Stanton going back to his Miami days. So familiarity's there. Minnesota, Detroit, Maeda and Boyd, your pitching matchup here in this one. Current line here has the Minnesota Twins right now, minus 160, minus 165 road favorites, total 7.5 across the board here. Not really in love with playing a number like this with Maeda, who's had definitely a shaky season, but certainly by his standards, and shaky in terms of some of these Detroit hitters against him. The rookie Akil Baddoo has hit him a couple times. Jonathan Scope, 4 for 10. Miguel Cabrera, 6 for 15, 400 average. So, wow, a couple guys that have had some success here against Kenta Maeda on this Detroit team, and a Tigers lineup that's hitting the ball better now, to be honest with you. This Detroit team, let's give them a little bit of credit. They couldn't hit a lick for several games, going on a couple of weeks there. And then the Boston series earlier this week came around and they started belting the baseball a lot better. So I give them credit. Well, I will say this in Maeda's defense, he was a lot better last time out. Is that the sign, Connor, of a good pitcher? Maybe finding it, adjusting, maybe tweaking his mechanics a little bit, working with the pitching coach. That's often what happens when a guy is struggling, and he was a lot better in his last start. Shut out Texas, pitched into the 6th inning, only gave up 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. Really good stuff from Maeda. Can he keep it going here? Boyd's just been rock solid, steady as she goes. 2 runs or less allowed in 4 straight starts. 1-3 Detroit in those 4 starts, largely because they haven't given him any run support in any of these games. Against the Twins usually hit lefties well, but he's given up 3 runs or less in every start against the Minnesota Twins recently. So, yeah, you should think that the Minnesota Twins hit lefties, but to me, Boyd's actually pitched well against them in the past. So could this be a sneaky first 5 under, assuming maybe Maeda turned a corner in his last start? If you want to be proactive, I guess I would lean that way, especially when you saw all the runs these 2 teams scored the last couple games. I could see it, calming down a little bit. And now today's that day we get that lower scoring game a little bit. So maybe a lean to the first 5 under. If Maeda can duplicate what he did the other day, we could see a slow start in the run department here. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I have a lean towards the first 5 under 4. I don't love that it's -120, and I think Maeda will get it corrected, and he did pitch better his last start. But I watched the few before that, and especially that Indians one. He did not look good, and that team pounded him that day, and he's still 2-2 with a 5 ERA. Yeah, Boyd kind of been the best pitcher for the Tigers so far, 2-3 with a 2.27 ERA. He's had good stuff. Twins kind of hit lefties. It's a tough one here. I want to mention Polanco has hit Boyd. He's 14 for 51 with 3 homers. Maybe look out for a long shot Polanco home run prop, but over his total bases, half or maybe go a 1.5. I think that's a pretty good play. Polanco all over Boyd. And other than that, I'm going to stay away. I don't love the 7.5. We've seen a few runs, like you mentioned, the last few days. And I don't want to lay -160 right now with the Twins. Just don't love it. This is a day I kind of want the Tigers plus money, but I just don't trust it. It's going to be a pass probably for me.
Yeah, probably a pass for me, but definitely a lean first 5 under with Boyd and Maeda here today if I were to bet something on this game. Next up, we've got the Arizona Diamondbacks and New York Mets. This is a pretty damn massive, gaping pitching mismatch here, in my opinion. Riley Smith against Jacob deGrom in this one. We've got the New York Mets, as you would expect, massive chalk here in this one. New York Mets right now around -295, almost -300 in some spots. 6.5 the total, shaded to the over here. Mets should cruise. Mets should roll. I just don't want to lay even the run line -1.5, -140. That's not a price I'm taking a run line with this New York Mets team. There's still sometimes especially with deGrom on the mound, for some reason, their offense goes cold. One guy that's starting to warm up, though, finally, is Frankie Lindor for this New York Mets team. And you knew it was going to happen at some point, but all of a sudden, the big home run, the big fly the other night, a couple of hits yesterday. Look out. This is a guy now, he's feeling it. The confidence is coming back. I think there was a lot of pressure and weight on his shoulders when he was struggling. And now that he's starting to warm up a little bit, he could go on a little bit of a tear. So you talk about total bases. I know he's never seen Riley Smith before, but total bases with Lindor, I think, might be something to look at here today. Riley Smith's just not very good. I mean, who's kidding who? I mean, he's got mediocre stuff. He's a fringe arm pitching at the major league level, and just hasn't shown me any kind of real significant, big-time, long-term upside in any of his starts so far this season here for Arizona. So, yeah, like I said, the Mets should win. They should potentially cruise, but we've said that a lot when deGrom's on the mound, and here they are, life or death to win, sometimes not even winning with him on the mound. But this is a mismatch on paper in terms of the starting pitching, but I'm not going to be involved. They just priced the Mets and deGrom way out of my range here in this one. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, just a huge number. And until the Mets really start doing it, and even not regularly, but with deGrom on the mound, I can't go like an alternate line here. I can't go 2.5, which, I'd like to. You think of DeGrom, he's going to go out, maybe let up 1 run today. And God, and you might not be able to win that. They can't score maybe 4 or 5. I just don't trust them. They've looked better lately, the Mets, but the number's too huge. Yeah, they're still a 3.5. Can Riley Smith get me, give me 5 innings here, and keep it under 3 runs, because I know what DeGrom's going to do. So I lean the first 5 under 3.5 here. And the Mets don't hit for DeGrom, so maybe look full game under 6.5. I want a 7, 6.5. I really start drawing the line full game, but definitely lean under here. And the Mets, I got to see it with DeGrom. Give this guy some freaking runs. God
That's
damn.
right.
I mean,
Come on.
holy
Yeah.
shit. This guy's unbelievable. Best pitcher in baseball for the last 3 or 4 years. And this is his record, 2-2. His ERA is not even 1 with 60 cases. So,
2-2.
yeah.
How stupid is that, right? I mean, it's insane. It
Insane.
absolutely is. Hit the ball for him, will you please? 10-mile-per-hour
Yeah.
winds blowing out with a mediocre fringe arm on the mound and Riley Smith.
Yeah.
Come on, score some runs, please. That's all we're asking here in this one. Yeah, -2.5 if you think they can score some runs at a plus price is the only value you can basically, eradicate out of this game if you like the New York Mets side in this one. But yeah, just score some runs. This should. By the way, something to watch for with your handicapping of MLB Daily, and I do this. Make sure I keep an eye on this. Worn down bullpens, especially bullpens that aren't that deep and aren't that good. And Arizona probably fits that category. They're not a brutal bullpen, but they're not great. You look at these, and you look at the fact that Arizona, their starters are giving them no length, none, 0. Merrill Kelly, 5 innings. Zach Gallen, 6. Bumgarner, 5. Weaver, 4. Riley Smith, 5. Merrill Kelly, 5. Gallen, 4. Bumgarner, 5. Weaver, 4. Look at these guys are barely pitching past the 6th inning, and there's not been many days off. So this is a worn down, tired, fatigued, exhausted Arizona bullpen, and you're seeing that. Like, they blew the game on Friday night, and they're giving up runs late in games right now. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Worn down bullpens that have been used quite a bit in recent games, because worn down bullpens lead to overs. No question about that. And that's definitely something I look at quite often. Next up, we've got Milwaukee at Miami. Brett Anderson, Sandy Alcantara on the mound here in this one. We've got the let me just bring up the numbers here. We've got Miami -135, -140, total 7, shaded to the under in this one. We'll have to see how it goes for Brett Anderson because he had a little injury situation there in the last time out. So can he rebound from that? That's going to be the question. 4.15 ERA for him going into this outing here for the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll see if he can fare well here against the Marlins, but the Marlins have got this red hot run going at the moment. That right hamstring injury that Anderson had, activated from that 10-day IL. I don't like backing the pitchers off off an injury stint, off an injury absence. And my thoughts on Sandy Alcantara. I think he's very good. 2.95 ERA. I've been on a Marlin first 5 full game split kick for a while now. I've been on it for like 4 or 5 times already this week. And yesterday I stayed off because I didn't want to go with Castano yesterday against Milwaukee. And sure enough, that's the game the Marlins finally lost yesterday. But nevertheless, today I come right back to it. First 5 and full game split here with the Miami Marlins. Brett Anderson's decent, but 4 ERA is, decent, but not great. He's coming off an injury, and Alcantara is just a better arm right now. So to me, first 5 full game split, Miami Marlins. Connor, what do you think?
I'm right with you. I like the Marlins to bounce back. I'm an Alcantara guy as well. You know that. I love these young arms the Marlins have. I'm on the first 5 under 3.5, -115. I'd even look full game if you want to too, but Marlins have been one of the best teams, kind of like the Giants at first 5 unders. So I wouldn't be too hesitant going there. And I just don't know how I want to do it. It depends on the Marlins pen. I like Alcantara. You get the first 5, a half run, but might even go full game. Big price here, +160. I think the Marlins get it today. Hopefully they can get to Anderson later on and get him out in 7th, 8th, 9th. So yeah, I like the first 5 under, and I'm leaning Marlins here. Half a run or run line. Just haven't decided how I'm going to bet it here.
First inning run in this game prop might be worth a look. DC, that's a wonderful stat, and that's why we love the chat participation, because they're not just sitting there picking their nose watching the show. They're actually got some good info and delivering it for us daily. And Milwaukee, 19.5 ERA for their pitching staff here in the first inning this month here in May. Wow. Yeah, and I've noticed that they've gotten behind quickly and early in a lot of games here this month. And
they don't have the sticks to come from behind. They're just not the team. Yeah.
Woodruff and Burns have been the guys that have kept the opponent off the board early. Nobody else has in this Milwaukee pitching staff for the most part this season. Well, I guess Peralta did early in the season, but Peralta got crushed in his last start. So, yeah, there's definitely something to that. Maybe you look at a run scored first inning here with that little stat with Milwaukee's struggling starting pitching staff early in the first inning. White Sox and Royals, Giolito and Mike Minor on the mound here. We've got the White Sox minus 140 to minus 145 road favorites, total 7.5, shaded to the under here in this game. It's not been, just a swimming season. Things aren't going swimmingly. That's what I'm trying to say for Lucas Giolito this season for the Chicago White Sox. It's been a grind for him. It's been a struggle at times for Giolito, especially in his last few starts. Better last time out for him against Cleveland. Signs of him turning it around. 1 run, 5.3 innings. But before that, he got rocked a little. 4 runs against Detroit. The 7-run disaster against Boston. But definitely was better in that last start against Cleveland. Against the Royals, he's been kind of up and down. 3 runs or more allowed in all 3 of his most recent starts against the Royals. So we'll see if he can pitch well here. You look at past history, though. For Giolito against some of these Royals, Benintendi 3 for 9, Dozier 5 for 16. A couple guys have hit him. Sal Perez 4 for 15. Whit Merrifield's the one guy he's owned, 4 for 28. That's all Merrifield is against Giolito. On the flip side, you've got Mike Minor on the mound for the Kansas City Royals. You know who he is. He's a lefty. Good luck with that against this Chicago White Sox team. We did it yesterday with Lynch. Lynch got lynched. All right, yesterday by the Chicago White Sox lineup. Absolutely torched. Look, he might be a big-time prospect, but he needs more seasoning, man. He's not ready. Like, that's 2 just disasters for him in a row. And they're pushing him too early, in my opinion, Kansas City. Let him develop a little bit, for crying out loud. He's not ready, and he showed it yesterday. Minor's numbers actually against the White Sox aren't terrible. For a team that usually mashes lefties, he's actually held up pretty decently against Mike Minor has against the White Sox. In fact, you look his last few starts against the Royals, or the most recent start he had against the White Sox, I should say, Mike Minor, 1 run allowed in 4 innings, so not terrible. And that was last month. But still, I mean, the track record is pretty damn clear. And the success rate has been pretty damn strong for the White Sox against any kind of lefty pitcher this season. So, you know where I'm going. I got to go back to it. White Sox team total over. I'm staying out of the side. I'm not doing a first 5 or full game or anything with Chicago because Giolito's a little rough right now. So we'll wait and see. But I'm just going to stick to White Sox team total over against a lefty. Why not? I think it's 6-1 or 7-1, something like that, to the team total over for the White Sox this season against the lefty starter. So how can you go against that kind of track record? What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah. This one's interesting. I think you still got to roll with the White Sox against the lefty. I'm a Mike Minor fade. Royals are just kind of spiraling down. They just don't look good right now. You're right, though. They have hit Giolito. The numbers aren't great, but a lot of these guys got homers off him, and that's his problem. He pitched pretty well. He bounced back his last start against the Indians, gave up a couple runs. But the long balls hurt him. All these guys got jacked. Soler's got a couple. Not a great average. But Santana, Merrifield, Perez, Benintendi, they all got bombs off him. It makes me kind of want to go the full game over 7.5. I think it's a little light here. So I'm looking the full game over 7.5. I'm with you. Team total, it's only 3.5, minus 140. I like it better, plus money, 4.5, really, with the White Sox. Yeah. So team total over. And I probably will take the first 5 again. I don't know if I want to go first 5 or full game. I just didn't know if I want to do a triple up here, because I really I think you can get over 7.5. It's at even money. But those are the three looks I like in this game. Team total, Sox either first 5 or run line, and I'm looking maybe to bet the full game over 7.5 at even money.
This, by the way, is the 10th straight day with a game for the Kansas City Royals with no days off. Their starters have given them 0.7, 5.2, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4 innings in all of those starts. So you talk about another bullpen that's worn down. Here we go again, Kansas City. 10 straight games with 10 straight days with a game and no day off, and none of these starters have gone beyond the 6th inning. That's taxing.
And you're right. That's taxing. And a guy like Mike Minor, not good today. I mean, if he could get you 6 is great. So maybe more bullpen there too. But yeah, C-runs, I think so. White Sox pound them.
Yeah, that is a hard wind blowing in. It is. I will admit that.
It
14
is.
miles per hour in. It's only 47 degrees. So yeah, but I got to stick with it. You know, I have to stick with it. It's White Sox against the lefty. I understand there's some trepidation with it being a cold, damp, wind blowing in type of day. Minor's not great. The bullpen's not great after him. Come on, White Sox, get me to 4. Because I'm on the 3.5. I'm going to go safer, the 3.5 minus 140. Yeah. Just get me to 4 runs, and I'll be happy. Toronto, Houston, Nate Pearson making his Jays debut this season. First start back finally with the starting rotation, much needed. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Houston Astros. We've got in this one, we've got the Astros minus 145 home favorites, total 9. I'm going to sprinkle Jays first 5 in full game here. I'm a Nate Pearson guy. I know it was up and down last year, but he's got electric stuff. I think he needed a little seasoning, kind of like we just talked about with Lynch for Kansas City. Pearson last year wasn't ready, just wasn't quite ready yet for that spotlight, being a starting pitcher. Now you've got a situation where he's now healthy again. It's his second year full-time with the Blue Jays. I think he's going to settle in and pitch well. And on the flip side, you've got Greinke, don't lose that fastball. You don't want to throw nothing else. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Houston Astros. And he has lost his fastball. That's the question. Yeah, that's the question. He has lost his fastball. That was a little Steely Dan reference there, by the way. He has lost his fastball. He's throwing this ephus pitches now and his junk balls and, just 60, 78. Is basically tapping out at the mid 80s, high 80s now. That's about as much as as hard as he can throw these days. I don't know. He's got the kind of stuff that a power hitting team like the Jays that has got Grichuk hitting well, Vladdy hitting well, Bo Bichette hitting well, Biggio coming out of his slump. That could be trouble for Greinke. And Greinke's been a little bit more hittable lately as well for the Houston Astros coming into this start. You look at his recent outings, they've been a little hit or miss for him. 3 runs in 4 innings against the Yankees wasn't great. 4 runs in 4 innings against the Mariners wasn't great. He had a good start against the Angels, but the last 2 he's labored big time here for the Houston Astros. So we'll see how he can fare here. I just think that this is a guy that's eventually going to develop into a premium arm in Nate Pearson here. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm going to take a little small shot here. Toronto here, first 5 and full game in this one. You've got small sample sizes here with a lot of these Jays against Greinke, but Simeon's the one guy. Seen him a lot from the days in Oakland. 4 for 13, 308 average against Zach Greinke. So lots of success for Marcus Semien against him. I'm going to go with Toronto. Yeah, first 5 full game split for me. Conor, what do you think?
Yeah, this one's for me. I think I'm going to stay away. But if I were to bet it, I'd take the Jays. I think I like Greinke. Just don't like the price. He hasn't looked great his last few starts. Just the Jays, I haven't been able to read. They kind of break out and then they throw up as kind of a stinker and don't score any runs, or then they score a bunch of runs, young team. And you talk about Pearson. This guy's got electric stuff. He wasn't ready, last year. We'll see what he does today. I like to take a shot with him, though, in the first 5 at plus 135. The Jays get Greinke a few runs off Greinke. It's not one of my top looks, but I might throw a little some on the Jays here, plus money, plus 135.
Yeah, apparently there's no limitations, Spencer, according to what I'm reading here about Pearson today. Yeah, maybe they'd use him as an opener. That would be disappointing because this is a guy that you want to eventually get, as one of your counted upon starters, but they say he's not expected to face significant limitations today when he's on the mound. So that tells me right there he's probably going to, I would hope, at least go 3. I'm hoping to give me 4 or 5. And which is why I want to split it up, first 5 in full game, because you could see a lot of the Jays pen today, no question. Colorado, St. Louis, German Marquez, Adam Wainwright in this one. St. Louis minus 150, home favorites here at Busch. The total 7 across the board. Of course, cashed a ticket with the over in this game yesterday with Chichi Gonzalez and Carlos Martinez. A wild slugfest. I get the feeling we could get the opposite today. I know German Marquez has struggled. 6.21 ERA. He got tuned. He got absolutely buried in that last start against San Francisco last week. I mean, he was just, what a 9-run inning they put up in the first inning against him, San Francisco. You've got some Cardinals that have hit him well. Paul Goldschmidt, 12 for 29. Again, that's from those Colorado, Arizona days. 12 for 29, 414 average. He's just lit up Marquez. 4 home runs. I mean, Goldschmidt, total bases and home run prop, absolutely. With a track record like that, you got to look in that direction. Wainwright's frustrating to me. He's good at home, but he labored the last start against the Mets, and I was lucky to still cash with St. Louis in that game. But I do think he can pitch well here. He does usually pitch pretty decently at home. So, yeah, Goldschmidt, total bases and home run prop. I love that. I'm probably not betting a side or total in this game. And be aware, we might get a rain delay as well. That bothers me here. 50% chance of rain in St. Louis today. Conor, what do you think? Rockies, Cardinals?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay off the side and total. I took a stab at the Rockies' first 5, and man, Chi-Chi, come on. And they gave him 5-5. It was 5-5 in the bottom of the 5th, and he gave up like a jack. And they lost it 7-5 after 5. I'm going to stay away. Yeah, here. It could be no runs. These guys haven't been good, though. Marquez hasn't been good on the road. He's 1-3, 6 ERA. Wainwright's been okay, 1-3. He's better at home normally. I'm on the props here. I'm coming back with Charlie Blackmon. He's 7 for 16 with a couple doubles, a triple, and a homer off Wainwright. So I'm going to do total bases and home run prop with him, and I'm going to do it with Goldschmidt. Total bases and a home run prop with him. As you just went through the stats, 4 homers, 12 for 34. So give me those 2 guys, total bases, and throw a few bucks on the homer prop with them. Like I said, Blackmon's was high yesterday, like plus 780. So if he could get one, it'd be a nice little pickup.
Yeah, and it's funny, the hit that actually cashed Blackmon's over total bases prop, sometimes that's what it is. It's not necessarily a hard hit. It's sometimes just a little dribbler, a little squibber, and that's exactly what it was, and it resulted in an advanced second on the play, and there you go. That was your total bases yesterday in the game for Charlie Blackmon. Next up, we've got Pittsburgh and Chicago Cubs. Tyler Anderson versus Kyle Hendricks. Cubs minus 160, total 6 across the board. There is a decent pitcher in Kyle Hendricks, but this season it's been very maddening. It's been very, very erratic, inconsistent, up and down for this guy. When he's on his game, he's good, and he can also just get absolutely crushed. So which one is it going to be for Hendricks today? Because he got hammered by Atlanta, 7 runs. Really Atlanta that's done the damage. 2 terrible starts against Atlanta. Other than that, he kind of was not great against Pittsburgh, but he shut out the Brewers. He held the Brewers again to 2 runs. And in his last start against a really good Dodgers lineup, we still think they're a good lineup, 1 run, 7 innings, extremely well in that game against the Dodgers just 5 days ago. So maybe a sign he's turning it around here a little bit. We usually think of him as a guy that pitches better at Wrigley. Kyle Hendricks. So we'll see if he can keep it going here against the Pirates. He's given up 3 runs or less in his last 3 starts against them. Tyler Anderson, on the other hand, for the Pirates, he's actually been very good. Give him credit. I thought this guy was Tyler Anderson. They're bringing this guy in from Colorado where he couldn't pitch a lick. He's given up 2 runs or less in 4 straight starts. He's won 3 of those 4 starts. He's given up 3 runs in 2 previous starts this season against the Cubs, lost those games, but did Pittsburgh, but didn't pitch poorly against the Cubs in those games. So this is a tough one all around for me. I think Kyle Hendricks here might be showing signs of getting it going again after that dominant outing against the Dodgers. Anderson's pitched well against lately. Maybe a first 5 under here. That would be the first thing. But unfortunately, the Pirates have had success against Hendricks a little bit, and the Cubs do hit lefties, which is their preferred side. So it's a little bit of a back and forth for me on this game. So that's why I'm probably staying away. What do you think, C-Mac, Pirates, Cubs?
Yeah, Anderson's been pretty good for the Pirates. I'd look the Pirates' way. You're right. Hendricks really just been ripped by the Braves twice. Pitched well against the Dodgers, but Cubs have been playing well. I got to give them that. I think they've won like 5 in a row, 5 or 6. But I just don't want Hendricks at almost minus 160. I look to the Pirates, and you just got it. Both these teams hit these pitchers, so I don't even care about the wind or anything. I like the total over 6. Big numbers. And if you're looking for props, Adam Frazier, couple homers. He's 11 for 26. And yeah, Chris Bryant, someone just said in the chat, 3 homers, 6 for 15 off Anderson. Just kind of owns them. So look at total bases, maybe Chris Bryant and Frazier. And maybe if you want a home run prop on those guys, they got a couple jacks here.
Yeah, the wind is blowing in pretty strongly at Kansas City. It's even more here at Wrigley. 16 miles per hour. Stiff wind blowing in. Huge wind blowing in. But boy, it's that's exactly why the total, Conor, is 6. Because they really pad these totals high when it's extreme wind blowing out, low, very low when it's extreme wind blowing in. And today it's blowing in at Wrigley, and it's extreme wind, like 18 miles per hour. That's like a, knock you off your feet type of wind. If you're a light person,
pretty
like
brisk,
me. Yeah, you could knock me over with the feather, which you could do actually with my slight size. But nevertheless, that's exactly why this total's as low as it is. But boy, I mean, that's why it's a tough one. I mean, that is not hitter's win. That is not a win that says screams offense in this game. But you look at some of the numbers,
homers, but
against Anderson, and then for the Pirates against Hendricks,
Yeah, they're getting tattooed. No, both teams can hit these guys. Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm probably going to stay away. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a prop bet on this game.
Yeah, maybe a nibble on the over, perhaps, but with just that number being so low. Seattle and Texas. Justice Sheffield, Dane Dunning here, the pitching matchup. We've got right now Texas minus 135, home favorites, total 8.5 here across the board. We had a very, very high scoring game, and I've been on the over, I think, the first 2 games of this series. I think it might be time to change course a little bit here today. Sheffield, I think, is a guy that's capable. I think there's still some upside for him as a long-term starter here for Seattle. He's definitely had growing pains like most young pitchers do with the Seattle Mariners. But you look at his last few starts, showing improvement, shut out the Angels in 6 innings in his last start. Each of his last 3 starts, by the way, have gone under the total as well, and he's pitched pretty decently. And the Dane Dunning, he had that one really terrible start against his old team, the White Sox. But since then, he's been better. 2 runs allowed against the Twins in 6 innings last time out, pitched a lot better. They're not winning for him, unfortunately. 0-5, the Rangers in his last 5 starts, but it's not necessarily because he hasn't pitched well. Mariners have never seen him before. Sheffield has given up 2 runs or less in each of his 2 previous starts against the Rangers. This looks like a first 5 under to me. I like that. Seattle, Texas, first 5 under in this one. What do you think, Conor?
Yeah, I'm with you. I lean to the first 5 under as well. The 4.5, I just don't love it at minus 125. I lean that way, and I'm on the Mariners here. Dunning's looked pretty good. Kind of a difficult game. Like you said, they scored a bunch of runs, these 2 teams, the last few days. Maybe a little low scoring today. But I see 2 teams. I don't see much of an advantage for the Rangers. I mean, Dunning's pitched a little bit better, but minus 135, 140, give me the plus money with the Mariners here. I think they're just good. I think they're better than the Rangers. So I like them. Yeah, plus 125, maybe take them first 5. I like doing that with the Mariners. Sometimes their bullpen can let me down.
Oh, it's terrible.
So maybe a Mariners.
They're a first 5 only team right now. That bullpen's a problem.
They're one of my top like 5 teams that I like to play first 5. Yeah. So yeah, if I'm playing the Mariners here, a little plus money, first 5 Mariners.
I mean, look at the game yesterday. They got up to a 5-1 lead. Bullpen coughs it up
Yeah.
5-5. 6-5,
Horrible.
bullpen coughs it up. 7-6 Seattle. They go ahead again for the third time. Bullpen coughs it up again. Spits the
Blow
bit.
it.
I mean, yeah, terrible. So that's exactly why, for my purposes, the under's first 5. I want no part of a full game under here, not with these two pens. Next up, we've got San Diego, San Francisco. Chris Paddock, Johnny Cueto on the mound here in this one. We've got the looks like in this one we've got the, where's the number here? There we go. They haven't posted yet. I'm trying to look for it.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
No starter for the Padres.
Oh, okay, that's why. No starter yet. We were supposed to be Paddock initially. But you're right. No starter. You're right, because vacant on the daily. I got to start looking at daily baseball. They've got it up to date, up to the minute. Cueto for the Giants for sure. We don't know for Sandy, so it's tough. It's tough to say. We'll see how Cueto does. Obviously, he's actually pitched well this year for the Giants. 1.8 ERA coming into this start, but again, off the injured list due to a lat injury that he was dealing with. So Gabe Kapler says he's feeling good though. That's manager speak. When's a manager going to say, you know what, we're bringing our good pitcher back from the injured list? He's not feeling good. You know, nobody ever is in their right mind is going to say that as a manager. It's all manager speak. He's feeling good. He's ready. That's what they all say when the pitcher comes off injury. But I got to see it with my own 2 eyes if he pitches well. It's probably a game I wouldn't bet either way. What do you think, Conor? San Francisco, I give him credit. I keep waiting for this team to freaking fall apart, and they're not doing it.
Yeah. I think they will. long year, long season. But right now, I'd only be on them, and I think they'll be plus money again. I gotta think. I thought, yeah, Paddock would pitch today, but how about Cueto? This is a guy I kind of nothing to do with. He went unreal in those 3 starts before this lat strain, and he went on the IL. I'm 2-0 with a 1.80 ERA, 18 Ks. Unreal. I don't know if that continues. That's what we're talking about. It's a game, just stay away. But if I were to bet it, I could get plus money. Again, it'd only be Giants. No way on the road again in San Francisco. My laying money with the Padres. So Giants are past.
All right, next up, we've got the Dodgers and the LA Angels, Battle of LA. The Dodgers finally get right yesterday, and yet spotted a 9-1 lead by the Angels. And the bullpen gave up a 7-run inning, and it got way too close for comfort again later in that game. I'm telling you what, I'm not listening to my own advice, and I do this all the time. I say to people on the show, do this, do that, and I never act on it myself. I hope someone else does, because it worked again to perfection. We said Friday when this series started, bet the live overs, bet the in-game overs after the 5th inning or after the starters leave. And these bullpens are just giving up cookies to the opposing lineups in this series. Both of them, they both stink. These are both hideous bullpens right now, the Angels and the Dodgers. And that's worked out to perfection so far in this series. We got Bauer and Quintana on the mound here in this one. Between these two teams, we've got the current line here has the LA Angels minus 180 to minus 185 road favorites, total 8.5, shaded to the over. It's definitely edge Bauer. There's no question about that from a starting pitching standpoint. He has a solid 2.44 ERA this season. He looks like he is, he's doing his YouTube hits all the time, but hasn't affected his performance on the mound this season for the Dodgers. He's pitched very well. Angels have never seen him, so that's an advantage here for Bauer going into this start. He's lost his last 2 starts, but again, 2-1, 4-3 losses. He pitched well, 2 runs in 8 innings against the Brewers. So it's not really been his fault. He's given up 2 runs or less in all but 1 start this season. So Bauer's been pretty solid, on point. Pretty much the opposite for Quintana. He's been dreadful. 5 runs allowed in the last 2 starts. It's been a woeful season for him. I've been fading him most times. I would only look against him here. Muncy 2 for 5, Barnes 2 for 4, Chris Taylor 5 for 11, Mookie 5 for 14 with a home run against Quintana. Maybe a Mookie Betts over bases prop just like yesterday. Cashed yesterday with Betts. Maybe it does again here. Quintana is just terrible. I know the Dodgers sometimes against lefties are a little shaky, but there's been guys in this Dodgers lineup that have hit Quintana. I just don't love the price with the Dodgers, and I'm still not fully comfortable to back them just yet. So it's a pass for me. I'd probably be more interested in Betts over bases, one of those props, than anything else. Conor, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, maybe a Betts over 1.5 again. All I have to say is either of these teams, it's first 5. So I mean, if you like want to back Katana, which I don't, but you got to take first 5. And if you like the Dodgers, you got to take first 5. I mean, look at yesterday. It was 13-1. Next thing I know, it's 14-11. I changed the channel. I mean, I thought Kershaw win his 5 innings. He didn't have to go any further.
That's insane.
And I'm like,
that's hideous. That's embarrassing,
what
man. That your bullpen does that. That's
happened?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
13-1. Yeah. 14-11.
I was like, what the hell happened? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was only about an hour and a half. I thought the game, I clicked back over, and wow, problems. Both these teams, problems. Bullpen, the Dodgers got to get it corrected at some point, or they ain't going anywhere. But yeah, some success. Quintana's just been horrible all year. He's, some success against some guys, but he's not a starter in MLB. I mean, it's the Angels. He's their 5th starter, and he shouldn't even be a starter. So like I said, if you want plus money, you got to go Angels first 5, both teams. If you like the Dodgers, just take the first 5. Take the half run with them first 5. And yeah, Mookie, I look at a Mookie maybe over 1.5 here again today, total bases.
All right, we've got McClanahan and Cole Irvin next up in this one. We've got Oakland minus 120, total 7.5 here in this one. When I look at these two pitchers, I look at two pitchers with some significant upside right now. This Shane McClanahan, the Irishman, as I like to call him.
He's
yeah. Lord love a duck, shares his mashed potatoes. Lord love a duck, Lord Tundrin. There's my little Irish accent right there. But yeah, Shane McClanahan, he's done an excellent job. Great job for the Rays. He throws hard, this guy. I think that's definitely very exciting when you watch him pitch. He's got some velocity behind his pitches. He's got good movement down in the zone. He's got some nasty break in some of the pitches as well. He's throwing well. And this Cole Irvin kid is really rounded into form. Remember early in the season, Conor, he had a rough start right at the beginning of the year, and he's really turned it around since then for the Oakland Athletics. He's pitched a lot better. Last 3 starts, he's given up just 3 earned runs in his last 20 innings of work. For the Oakland Athletics, he's pitched extremely well. He held the Rays to 2 runs the last time he faced them just a couple of weeks ago. McClanahan has been, very, very solid. He's given up just 2 earned runs in 8 innings as a starting pitcher since becoming a part of this Tampa Bay rotation here in this one. So, these are 2 guys that are throwing heat right now. They're missing bats. I'm looking at under 4 here, first 5 innings. Strikeout props, David Sharp. Yeah, I couldn't talk you out of that. That makes sense. Both of these guys are getting some swings and misses, especially Irvin. No doubt. We talk about it. Rays top 5 team in Major League Baseball in terms of most strikeouts, or teams that strike out the most. Tampa Bay is like top 5. So that K prop makes sense on Irvin. I like the first 5 under 4. C-Mac, what do you think? Tampa Bay, Oakland.
Yep. That's what I'm going with, the first 5 under 4. Yesterday, I thought full game was better, and they got runs late. It just stayed under the first 5 yesterday because they were hanging, I think, the 3.5. Yeah, McClanahan, this guy's got filthy stuff. And Irvin's been good, 3-1 with a 1.42 ERA his last 4. Yeah, I'm only on the first 5 under 4. If I were to play, I'd take the Rays plus money. I like the A's in a lot of spots. I just think 2 even teams. If I had to take a side, I'd take the plus money with the Rays.
All right, Sunday night baseball, final game. Yeah, Nolly knows. Nobody knows where he is right now, but that's all right.
Yeah,
I probably had some issues. That's all right, no problem. We'll get him on the show. We're looking forward to having him back on the show again. Aaron Nola and Oscar Yanoa on the mound here. Phillies minus 135 favorites here on the road. Actually, no, not that big. Minus 115 road favorites in Atlanta. 7.5 the total, shaded to the over. I thought yesterday was going to be one of those days again, Conor. Look at this. I'm crushing MLB again, but my best bet is going to on the closing time show is going to lose again. But I got a little miracle. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. All I need is a bad bullpen or 2, and we've got both bullpens acting up yesterday between the Phillies and Braves. And it got there. Braves team total over 4.5. Best bet yesterday on the closing time show. We'll take it. incredible comeback by Atlanta. I thought for sure 7-4, Phillies took the lead. Oh, they're going to pack it in now. They know they're not coming back. 7-4, we're going to fall short on the team total, even with extra innings. But nope, they rallied 7-7, and then they win at 8-7. Unbelievable by the Atlanta Braves last night. This just smells from a mile away like it's going to be one of those 2-1, 3-1 games. You had one of these crazy, crazy games, sleepy, like sterile, hangover type of start to this game. You've got Aaron Nola on the mound, who's pitched pretty well for the most part, 2.89 ERA this season. Only Ozuna, and Ozuna and Acuna have hit him pretty good. 9 for 25, 10 for 33. Other than that, he's kept most of the other Atlanta hitters in check. Oscar has been very solid this season, 2.36 ERA. I might chance it on a first 5 under. It's just got that feel to it. Wild game, high scoring, goes to extra innings. Both teams put through the emotional ringer. I could see a little hangover tonight. Maybe a lean to the first 5 under, and then maybe a live over. With these 2 worn down bullpens, David Sharp's been mentioning it in the chat. The Phillies bullpen is beaten up to shit because of how much they've had to pitch lately. This is what my approach for this game. First 5 under, and then a live over right after that. I think that's a nice strategy, I think, to use in this game. Phillies and Braves, Sunday Night Baseball with Vescursion and A-Rod. What's wrong with A-Rod, by the way, when he talks? He's like, now these pitchers, you're trying to make for strikes. That's the way it sounds like he's talking there on the broadcast. But that's some people I know. My friends of mine, they mute him, A-Rod, when he's doing the Sunday Night Baseball. But nevertheless, C-Mac, what do you think here? Phillies, Braves.
He's so full of himself. It's crazy.
He is. Oh,
yeah. Acuna and Ozuna.
Down a peg now that J-Lo told him to hit the road, though.
Yeah, beat the street, buddy. Those 2 guys scare me a little bit. They've hit Nola really well, but you're right. Other than that, nobody here. And the Braves just surprised me. They just can't hit. Yesterday, they just couldn't score any runs. So this one's I'm throwing up my hands. I would lean on a first 5 under 4 as well. I don't know if I'm going to bet it. And if I bet the Braves, I take the first 5, plus 110. Hopefully, they maybe get a few off Nola. I can't take him full game. The bullpen's let me down again and again. And while I like Nola, I like him better at home than on the road. And even as a favorite, minus 115, this is not a spot I would take. I want to bet the Phillies. Favorite in that spot, minus 115, 20 on the road. So just a pass for me. And maybe look at those props with Acuna, Ozuna. Over total bases and homer. Both these guys, 3 homers, 2 homers. So that's what I'd look for.
All right, good stuff, Conor, Mac. And yeah, Sunday Night Baseball has actually there's been more overs than unders with the Sunday night games this year. So, but I don't think tonight will be a fast start for the offenses. I think we could see, again, lower scoring start. That's why I kind of like the first 5 under, and then maybe bet a live over after that. Great stuff, Conor. Great analysis of this Sunday card. We will get to best bets in just a second. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. It's a Sunday. It's Mother's Day, and yet what have we got? 144 live viewers. Unbelievable. What support. We can't thank you enough. Great to see the turnout here in the chat and everybody watching. Hopefully, we all have another solid day betting MLB. Before we get to best bets here to wrap up this Sunday edition of the show, we'll pause for 30 seconds for this advertisement and this message from our great sponsors, Manscaped. Manscaped, promo code PubSports, and also check out mybookie.ag. I mean, NHL, NBA, MLB daily, Bitcoin accepted currency, promo code PubSports, mybookie.ag. Everyone, a lot of people in the chat asking about the first run and first inning props. I don't bet a lot of those, and if I'm not betting my own money on them, I'm not going to talk about them or tell people to bet them. That's the thing. I mean, it's not a market that I've actively been betting in baseball, not often anyway. So I wish I could give you some stuff on that. All I say is the guy DC that mentioned Milwaukee struggles in the first inning. Maybe you look at a first inning run in that Milwaukee Miami game with that start. But yeah, that's exactly why I don't mention it too much. It's just I don't really bet a lot of those, and if I'm not betting it, I don't want to mention it and put my name on it. Put your goddamn name on it. Remember that from Herm Edwards from way back in the day. Great press conference that was. All right, it is time for best bets now to wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. Conor, Mac, we'll start with you. What do you like here for best bet?
Man, there's a ton of games. I got to start narrowing it down here. I'm going to go out west. I'm going to take my first 5 under 4. You get it -110, -115 most places. Rays, A's. I know the A's can hit lefties a little bit, but McClanahan, I think he's pitches well. Give me the first 5 under 4 here.
Reminds me of that House of Pain song, McClanahan, Shamrocks, boom, shalaka-laka, boom. That was a good classic hit there. Tampa Bay and Oakland. There you go, under 4 first 5 innings for Conor Mac for his best bet. My best bet for this card is going to be I'm going back and forth on a couple. I got to make up my mind now and see what we're going to go with here. For me, I'm going to land on see, I'm struggling here. I'm going to go with the Nats Yanks. Yeah, Nats Yanks overnight, -115. I'll go.
That was my other one.
Very stiff wind blowing out at Yankee Stadium there, straight to center. 2 pitchers that are Ross has had some good moments, but lately it's not been as good. Herman's just been a mess, especially at Yankee Stadium. 6.45 ERA at home this season for Domingo Germán. I think we'll see some runs there. Nats Yankees over 9 -115. That'll be my best bet for this Sunday MLB card. That'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show on Pub Sports Radio. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, for the Monday edition. Ski Profit will be our guest, and then we'll have the NBA show with the 3 of us, Conor, me, and Ski, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific as well. For Conor, Mac, and me, and Cameron, have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. Happy Mother's Day. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Happy Mother's
Monday.
Day. Yeah. To all the moms, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and to mine as well. Absolutely. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show.